Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. The scene is set this evening for New Orleans by Night, another minisode by the name of Lilian Carlisle. Lilian Carlisle, a member of Clan Toreador, the childer of Cuscio, the former Primogen of Clan Toreador, who, well, did put Clan Tremere in a rather huffy mood and made much of the clan in that city, as far as the Tremere were concerned, made the Toreadors undesirable riffraff, deserved of low clan status had this been the Dark Ages. Lilian, in turn, became the de facto primogen of the clan, and for the most part, those Toreador that are still in the city at the time of December 24th, Christmas Eve, actually find Lilian to be a good primogen thus far. She's not a total screw up like her sire, and she seems to be fair minded enough that she won't use her position of power to become completely self indulgent. Or at least she hasn't yet. Lilian finds herself on the eve of the birth of Christ as far as the Christians are concerned. The eve where the Camarilla warband is set to descend upon what is left of the Sabbat rabble, the rebel rousers and riffraff that came into the city looking to take it away from them in an unorganized and uncoordinated attack, but one of attrition, hopefully overwhelming members of the Camarilla. But the martial prowess of the Ivory Tower proved too great, and several windfalls on discovering intel early on enabled the Camarilla to get a edge upon their sworn enemies. And thus it happened that the Sabbat were pushed out of the city onto the edges of Lupine territory to make their final stand. Miss Carlisle, not being one of a martial variety, has respectfully declined to take part in the festivities in the bayou and has instead opted to remain in the city to be vigilant. And I say vigilant with air quotes. As some of her compatriots have. She knows for a fact that one of her closer friends has decided to remain in the city as well, as a handful of others have. And so we find her inside her mansion in the French Quarter.
Caspian, would you come here, please? She says as she sits in her parlor. The Christmas tree right beside her, well decorated and lit, very festive, very normal, but very over the top, very Toreador.
Young man, a youthful individual, just barely at the age of 18, comes forth from the kitchen uh, wearing a turtleneck, and normally he wears a blazer over top of it, but blazer is hung up by the door, and he comes out with a apron on as the smell of festive holiday cookies kind of permeate the manor. And so he comes forth with a smile on his face and a glass of wine in one hand, sipping from it. Yes, Miss Carlyle, what can I do for you?
Well, I know most people wait till Christmas morning, but You've been such a dear friend to me. I couldn't help but go a little bit early. And from beside her, she picks up a small little package and hands it to her dear little girl. I just a little something to say Merry Christmas.
Miss Carlisle, you really shouldn't have. And he sits down uh, on the couch adjacent to her, placing the glass on a coaster. He seems to be very adamant about being neat and tidy. And he sets it down and not even going to attempt to say, oh, I don't deserve this, because you don't turn down your Dometer, much less a Toreador, when they give you a gift. And so he'll very carefully unwrap the package.
And once he opens it, it is a very well preserved, very old set of sheet music for the cello, probably dated mid 18th century. And it's from an unknown composer, but to the naked eye, you can tell that it's pretty interesting piece of music.
His eyes go a bit wide as his jaw just kind of hangs agape. Very unusual breach of etiquette for him. Normally he is, well, nearly as on ball as one might expect out of a revenant ghoul, perhaps. Someone who has served a vampire their whole life. Someone who has lived amongst the courtly behaviors of the Camerlord. Signifying he is quite astounded and ingratiated by this offering. I don't know what to say.
If you have nothing to say, then don't need to say anything. It's not much, but it's to show my appreciation, and I am in the spirit of giving this time of year. I figured you'd like it.
I thank you. This is amazing.
No, it'll be even more amazing once you actually play the music.
You make me sad that I didn't bring my cello this evening.
It's fine. Whenever you're able to get it, that's fine. I just can't wait to hear it played. It's so fascinating.
I would be honored to play it for you.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
May I get you anything?
Yeah, something to drink. You know my favorite.
Yes, ma'am. He says, trying to keep as formal as he can now, realizing he might have had a brief lapse in etiquette, and simply stands up and takes the sheets very carefully and goes to his bag to, take his laptop and completely take it out of the protective casing to put it inside this leather-bound case, the sheet music, so it is well protected. And he slides it, or sets it on the table rather than slides it back into the bag, and then disappears into the kitchen for a bit.
She just kind of waits patiently, just looking at the decorations and enjoying the moment and the season. She likes Christmas. It's fun. It brings back fond memories.
As you're sitting there, you do you have the TV on?
No, she does not, but she'll probably have, if it's news related, she'll have, automatic special updates or something to her phone.
Well, phones, how unreliable they can be
True.
this time of year. So you're maybe caught a bit unaware as the mansion quakes just slightly, as though something far off and away had, well, exploded as you hear a loud echoing boom from the other side of the French Quarter. You hear car alarms going off as the jolt sprang the motion-triggered alarms to life.
That should probably get up and wander into the kitchen. Caspian, did you hear that? Feel that?
He stands with his mouth agape, um, and the glass just kind of vitae just falls out of his hand and crashes to the floor at his feet. As he's looking in a direction where you know more expensive and more historic buildings than yours to reside.
I shall kind of look in the direction that he is. See what.
Roll me a perception academics.
Dice. Whenever Dice Dream actually decides it wants to work.
I can roll for you if you like. No, maybe you've come back.
Just 1 moment. Tempting to open it.
Well, if you wish, I can be your
Here,
designated.
just roll 5 dice, yeah.
Alright.
For now, just roll 5 dice.
The designated dice roller, the DDR. Yeah, one success. You know that one of the Tremere Chantries is in that general direction. And judging by the lavish look of the building that is currently now spewing fire from its upper floors, that is a good chance that could be the Tremere Chantry, though you're not 100% sure.
Oh my gosh. On this note, she probably has some small television in the kitchen. Should probably turn that on.
All right.
Immediately to the news. See if
as you're turning that on, Caspian has kind of come out of his stupor and gone and gotten a few rags to clean up the mess that he's made, and he does it quickly because he's just amazing like that. And as you're watching the news, the anchor places a finger to his ears as he was already in the middle of talking about some other incident in the downtown area. I'm actually getting, yes, okay, now we have confirmation of a second structural fire. This one not at the Gia nightclub. This one is actually some distance away. Yes, the French Quarter. We're going to you live, and you see pictures, like a split screen picture of, well, the nightclub you know as the Gia Night underground nightclub, which belongs to a certain friend of yours, as well as as the pictures of the building that you can see from your window burning.
she's gonna pull out her phone, and after hearing the Gia nightclub, she's gonna attempt to call Lila.
And immediately as you click your phone, nothing happens. You just hear the boom, boom, boom as you try to make the call.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the cellular bars on your phone, they are not there, and the service symbol for whatever carrier that you might have is X'd out.
Caspian, do you have cell service?
He's sort of crouched down, picking up broken glass shards and placing them into the nearby waste bin, and he'll reach into his phone. Give me just a moment, ma'am. And he looks at his phone, kind of looks a little perplexed. He takes his phone and kind of taps it on the side of the trash can, and then holds it up to kind of do it as a wave around. No, ma'am, I'm afraid I don't.
Something's wrong. Very, very wrong. And as she says that, she's going over to the house phone, and she's going to attempt to call Lila again from that.
You do get a dial tone, and as you use your landline, you call, and it rings once, and then you hear a automated recorded messaging service. We're sorry, but all circuits are down now. Please try your call again later.
Everything's very, very wrong.
Miss Carlisle?
Caspian, pack
Yes,
some bags. I don't think we should stay here for tonight.
well, and he'll look. I mean, I don't think the fire would spread here, ma'am.
I have a very bad feeling.
Very well. Should I pack lightly? Should I pack hardware? He says with an emphasis on hardware.
Pack some hardware. Most of the things here, if we cannot return, if the house is still standing, I'll have someone fetch during the daytime. But right now, I just don't feel that we should stay here this evening.
Is there anything of personal value you'd like me to make sure is packed?
Clothing, jewelry, the valuables. Of course, my ballet shoes. You know how important they are to me. And whatever else you think you might need to take with us.
On it, ma'am. And he can sense the urgency in your voice. He's been around you long enough that he can tell. And he's off like a dash. And even though he might be in a flustered fury, perhaps, or flurry, perhaps, he still comports himself. His pace is swift but not panicked, as he simply comes with 4 different bags and begins to pack them in short order. And as the nearby train rolls by, he comes to Miss Carlisle with a pistol in hand and holds it up to her.
Now, I don't even know why we have this thing. I hope you know how to use it because, to be honest, I'm not very good with firearms.
Well, after some of your compatriots came over last time and they regaled us with the tales of their exploits on the ship, I took the liberty of arming myself, ma'am, getting the permits that I required.
Good.
But all the
Hopefully we won't.
same, I would feel much more secure if you had one as well.
All right. And she takes the gun and puts it in her purse because she doesn't really know what to do with it. We're in the swamps. But if something's happening here, don't know if they I'm hoping they were successful, but perhaps we should go the opposite direction. I think it might be wise if we leave the city for the time being, at least for tonight.
Well, what about Miss Gia? You're good friends with her. She has a rather secure domain, as I remember.
Well, if I heard the news correctly, it said something about a fire at her club as well.
His face turns a little bit more solemn. I see, ma'am. Then out of the city it is. The prince's fallback point, as I recall you telling me, was in the town of Louisburg.
Yes.
I shall call ahead to make sure that there is a room prepared for you. And he goes to the house phone and makes quick arrangements before going back into the room and packing, well, what might be considered excessive for most, but the bare essentials for a toreador of her stature, anyway. And within 20 minutes, he literally has everything that she would need packed, and is already bringing them down to the garage to put into the sedan.
Hopefully we won't come into any trouble trying to escape, but just be careful.
I'm more worried about you, Miss Carlisle, he says as he holds up the coat for her.
She'll slip her arms through the sleeves and is very much ready to leave.
And he'll open the back car door for her.
She'll get in, put on her seatbelt, and he can tell that she is unnerved.
As he goes to shut the door, he stops and then places a hand on her shoulder. I'm sure everything will be fine.
You're probably right. I'm just a worrywart, you know.
You never can be too careful. Let's get you out of here. We'll get you into a more secure location, and tomorrow evening we'll be back here and we can laugh about this whole little situation as I regale you with the sheet music that you gave me.
That would be wonderful.
And he closes the door and makes his way to the front seat and starts the car up and begins to back out, and the car comes to a very abrupt stop as a dump truck nearly runs into them coming down the alleyway that the mansion backs into. And you can hear him kind of give an exasperated scoff. Ah, well, that was rather rude.
Yes.
He wasn't even paying attention.
No matter. Fools be fools. I just want to leave.
Yes, ma'am. And he backs out, and as he does so, he pulls to angle the car to go down the alleyway away from the bayou. And as he does, he starts to roll in that general direction, and then is stopped as one of the dump trucks that matched the one that previously cut them off sort of comes across the alleyway again, paying no mind, as he stops the car again abruptly, this time jerking forward enough that if Miss Carlisle had been availing herself of the minibar, would be rather upset.
Just keep going. If they keep doing this, we'll have to find another side road to get around them, but we don't have time to worry about this.
I have to go through the rest of this alleyway to get to the main road. He trails off as he seems to be looking down the right side of the car.
What is it? What's wrong?
He can't really speak as he sees about 6 identical individuals walking towards the front of the car. What you notice is 6 women, all of them absolutely identical, stepping out into the road. They don't seem to be paying the car any mind just yet. But they kind of walk out into the middle of the street, and they seem to be saying something that you can't hear from inside the car.
Caspian, don't do anything. Just sit here. Up goes the divider.
Caspian might think to himself, and I thought we were friends. Under his breath, of course, or not at all out loud. Might just be what he's thinking. And he sits there, and he puts the car into park, and just waits. And waits, and waits, and let's see what happens. Alright, nobody's going to die just yet, but Miss Carlisle, make me a perception and alertness roll. You hear it before Caspian. The sound of a vehicle barreling down the street behind you, going at a breakneck speed.
How close are they?
Too close to stop.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
You have a few seconds before it hits you.
She's gonna do her best to try and, get him to move.
Well, then
or
go ahead.
anyway, any direction.
Say what you gotta say.
Will he hear her from? I mean, she has the divider up.
Roll me a charisma and expression. Or performance, whichever you have more of.
Okay.
Four successes. Okay, yeah, you definitely bellow out loud enough. What do you say?
Shit, hold on. An out of character moment to say. Let's see. She's going to bellow out something along the lines of, they're going to hit us, get the car out of the way, something to that extent.
You get, they're going to hit us as Caspian looks in the rearview mirror. You feel the car lurch as he goes to put it into drive. And that's when the impact happens.
Shit.
And this dump truck moving at a fair rate of speed is going to hit the car hard enough. It's going to do about 5 points of bashing damage to you and lethal to poor Caspian. Which he soaks none of. So yes, your rear-ended Caspian's head smacks against the airbag, and then his head smacks back against the bulkhead of the car, and then side to side as the car is kind of spun out into the alley, and you hear the loud thuds over the impact of the car, and the car is kind of tossed across the other side of the street and kind of lands in the divider, like the landscaped divider between another two, small McMansions.
She's going to check to see if he's all right.
Yeah. Roll me your soak, though.
Okay. And what was that again?
Stamina, just straight stamina.
Straight stay. Okay.
5 points of bashing rounds down to 2 points for
Standard
vampires.
difficulty?
Yep.
Okay.
So you're fine. You're a vampire. You're dead.
But yeah, as soon as the car stops, she's gonna check to see if Caspian's alright.
Well, he seems to be dazed. He's bleeding from the head pretty profusely. His eye is already starting to swell shut. His nose is completely broken, and he seems to be making a kind of a gurgling sound as he's kind of breathing in, almost as if he's been punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
His arms are kind of stiff and rigid, still holding the wheel. You notice that his knuckles are bare white, so he's probably been KO'd at this point. Have you ever seen a
Are any
boxer get hit just perfectly and they go rigid?
yeah. Um, is there anyone around outside? Me.
No, the women moved out of the way quickly, and the truck came to a stop. Sliding to a stop. They moved about 10 yards past you, or where you landed, as they came to a stop. The driver's kind of getting out. The women sort of just standing and milling about, really unsure of what to do.
I mean, how how close did you say they were to where this vehicle is now?
They're about 10 yards away from you.
So they can still probably see if anyone gets out of the car
Oh,
fairly
yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though they may not be focused on you right now. You might just be incidental leftovers.
Which side of the car are they more towards?
They're on their driver's side is kind of pointing in towards the mansion itself. The passenger side, which you were sitting on, is
Mm-hmm.
faced outwards towards them.
Okay. Hmm. And bombard you with questions, but and my goal is, I mean, is it just he's knocked out and bloody, or is it like he's going to die?
Well, he took 5 points of lethal. That's not good for him.
No.
He's a step up from mauled. He's 2 away from death. So
Okay.
yeah, he's pretty badly broken right now. It would
Hmm.
probably be a miracle if he could walk on his own right now.
She can do is because he's a ghoul, she could try to heal him up a little bit with some of her blood. I mean, are the group of identical females, their attention isn't on them? It's
Well, let's let fate decide. I happen to have a chance cube. For now, they are not focused on you. They seem to be focused on another car that seems to be pulling up from the direction that you guys came from.
hmm. Okay, she's gonna, as quickly as possible, try to, quote unquote, fix him at least a little bit.
Well, he has to be able to ingest the blood,
Yeah, he does. He's unconscious. Forgot about that.
so he's kind of just sitting there. Probably the divider has kind of fallen down halfway in the track, so you could probably push it down the rest of the way. And so he's just kind of laying there, his head to one side. He doesn't look good.
That's probably no way to wake him up.
No, I never said couldn't try.
I mean, I can try, but I mean, she'll try. Yeah, she'll try.
All right. So what are you doing? What are you saying to him? What are you trying to do?
Um, there's a non-injured part on his body. Or a non-visibly injured part on his body.
As his hands kind of relax off the steering wheel, uh, his left hand looks kind of crooked. His right hand does not. His right arm looks pretty okay.
Great. She's gonna try and reach the divider and tap his arm. Caspian, please wake up. Caspian.
And you just hear kind of a slight.
Right. So he's awake.
He's coming out of it slowly, but you can see his eyes kind of dazed as they kind of are glazed over. And his eyes flutter slightly as he slowly starts to become aware of the amount of pain he's in. He just immediately just starts groaning again.
No. Calm down. I'm going to try to help you a little bit. Now that he's awake, she will.
Well, he needs to make himself a little roll here.
Oh.
A little courage roll for him.
Shit. Oh, I hope he doesn't scream.
No, he's fine. He's okay.
Okay.
But he's like starting to shake, and he's like, "Oh god, oh god." And he starts kind of reach. He's trying to grab for Lilian now, trying to grab a hold of her. I mean, you can see the panic is starting to set in. He might be going into shock.
Gonna quickly, make a small little incision with the little vampy nails that they have, and probably like on the wrist or something, and put it towards his mouth to try and heal him up.
All right, how many blood points are you going to allow him to take?
How many has he lost?
It's not blood that he's short on. He's got plenty of blood in his system. But to heal up, he's going to need more vitae than he's capable of carrying. And I will roll his stamina and his survival. He can heal up to two points of damage.
Okay.
Using the vitae. So he'll take a little bit from you, but once he has enough to at least get himself centered, he pushes your arm away. Do you need it more than I do, Mom?
Just want you to do all right enough. You seem to be in a bit of trouble.
And it's about the time that you say trouble that the passenger side door opens on your end. And, well, one of the young ladies is standing there looking at you. You. Come out. Come play with us. It extends a hand out towards her.
May I ask whom you might be?
I am 6.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, 6. And she'll, with a little bit of hesitation at first, get out of the car.
You'll notice that there are several more standing around you. And, I mean, upon closer inspection, they look exactly like each other. You notice that one of the other ones goes to the other side of the car and very gingerly, actually, takes Caspian from his seat, helps him stand up, and leads him over next to you. And it's at that point that you see the other sedan. The occupants have gotten out of it. And a gentleman dressed in wonderful southern finery is standing on the adjacent side of the car. He looks at you and takes a drag off of his ivory cigarette holder. and then grabs the front of his lapels as he walks towards you with a smile. Well, now it doesn't look like you suffered too ill an effect of that little impact.
Oh, I at least seem to be fine for the moment.
Your driver, on the other hand, young lad, is such a sorry sight right now. Ah, what a shame. What a shame. You notice one of the, well, probably about three of the 6 women have actually kind of surrounded him. They seem to be intently preening him like primates do in a communal setting, as they seem to be sniffing him up and down. He looks, if it wasn't for him being dazed, he might be terrified, but he seems to be a little bit too out of it to really do anything but go along with the program. You, Hal, on the other hand, might need to make yourself a self-control roll, difficulty 7.
Okay.
Because, well, they're playing with your things.
Nope.
Oh my dear. You start to feel something inside of you well up. Suddenly, your beast, your more lower nature, your more base nature, wells up inside of you, and it's not happy. You don't feel happy. They're touching your ghoul. They're preening him. They're doting on him. Perhaps they're going to take him away from you. Maybe make him their own. And you can't help but lash out towards them.
I'm just gonna quickly turn her attention towards it. Do not touch him.
Well, my dear, you go into a frenzy, so unless you want to spend a willpower point to stay out of it.
Yes.
Okay. Then that's exactly what you can do, and they'll look at you as you chastise them.
Please.
And it's about that time that you notice, in the split second that you turn, that a hand of the southern gentleman has come to cup your cheek. How he moved that quickly? Well, you have an idea of how he could have moved that quickly. My, you're a feisty one. Spirited, aren't you? Is he kin to you, my dear?
He belongs to me.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. I see. So am I right in assuming that this hapless creature of yours is your ghoul, your property?
You'd be correct.
Ladies, remove your hands from the young man. What's his name?
Caspian.
Remove your hands from Caspian. Come over here. Stand here with your sisters. There's no need for you to, well, terrorize the young man. He looks like he's had enough of that already. Oh, dear. Would you so kindly tell me who you are? You are a lovely flower here down in this southern garden, and I simply must know what your name is.
Lilian Carlisle.
Lilian Carlisle flows off the mouth like a sip of sweet tea in the summertime. Ooh, makes me shiver with delight. Miss Carlisle, of what clan do you happen to be from?
Well, I would hope my appearance would be enough for you, but if you must ask, Toreador.
Oh, I had almost mistaken you for Clan Ventru with the level of grace and refinement that you carry yourself with. Certainly I thought you were some high lord, perhaps the prince of this very fair city.
Oh, no, not a job I would ever want.
Oh. Well then, Miss Carlisle of Clan Toreador, tell me, what is your position in this city, if any? Are you a harpy? I know our clan has a penchant for being harpies.
Oh no, I'm not a harpy at all. I guess you could say I'm just a well-respected being in society.
A well-respected being, I see. Could I go as far to assume that you are part of a council, then?
You could assume that.
Would I be right in doing so, or would I be off the mark, perhaps by the slightest of margins?
Well, if I may ask, and hopefully I'm not being so rude, but is it absolutely necessary you know what my job is?
Oh, absolutely, certainly. You see, I have, well, I'm in charge of this little bit of land here, the city you call New Orleans now. Soon our campaign will be at a close here, and, well, I would like to see where you fit in or where you don't fit in. So, would you be so kind as to tell me exactly who you are and what your status of this city is?
All right. I am Primogen.
Oh, how lovely. What a lovely, lovely lady you are, and what a lucky, lucky group of kindred the title of this city ought to have you. Tell me, Miss Carlisle, would you enjoy being a member of the spot?
Depends. Do I have a choice? I have a feeling if I say no, I won't live very long afterwards.
Well, I'd be lying to you if I said, oh no, you're far off the mark. I do believe my girl's here, and he says as one of them comes over and he places a very loving and tender arm over them. I believe my dear girls here would be more than happy to make a meal of you.
Hmm.
But I'll tell you what I'll do. And he'll reach behind him and pull out a rather lavish ivory gripped pistol, and he hands it to her. I'll I'll consider you as a probationary member of our dear sect if you and he looks at Caspian, who's finally coming around. If you put a bullet between his eyes.
Oh. Hmm. Do give me a moment to consider it. I like
Oh,
my playthings well preserved and fucking shit.
he looks at his watch on his. Actually, he's definitely the kind of guy that would have a pocket watch. So he pulls his pocket watch out. Well, you have all of about 10 seconds to decide, my dear. These very generous offers of mine, they seem to flutter around like a snowflake falling in, the summertime. They usually dissipate before they hit the ground. Aubrey. Hello. And I think we have our. I think we are going through some technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. So, while we're waiting, New Orleans by Night minisodes have been brought to you by O'Tully's. Yes, that's right, O'Tully's Burgers. Now introducing their new pork sandwiches, flown in straight from some of the most exotic places around the world. O'Tully's promises quality over quantity, and we hope that we can serve you with a wonderful smile every time that you come into O'Tully's restaurants, now serving the greater New Orleans and Louisiana area. And we are still waiting. play the waiting game. Wait, 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 wait. Hopefully to see her sign back on. And well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like we might be sunk. Or as much as I'd like to sit here and play first fiddle, well, maybe we have some luck here. Maybe somebody's signed back on. Perhaps we'll see an appearance in them here in the next few moments. Because in all likelihood, 10 seconds has passed and poor Caspian's decision has been made for him. But we'll see. Looks like I'm going to have to start preparing commercial breaks for such occurrences, aside from Otelli's. Perhaps any of you watching would like to leave comments on these little videos on pen text-based product placements that you would like to see in these little World of Darkness videos when things of this nature happens. And we're still stretching it, just waiting. Hey, what do you know? She made it back.
Yeah, this fucking laptop dies so easily. Drives me crazy.
Well, what was the last thing you remember hearing?
She was asked to put a bullet between his eyes.
He was going to further state that the offer had a half-life of 10 seconds. Obviously a little bit more extravagant than that, but that's basically the gist of it.
And, I mean, is Caspian aware of what's going on, or is he kind of still, for the most part, out of it?
He's aware enough where he's a little wide-eyed. And he seems to be staring at this man with daggers.
Just gonna kind of look over to Caspian to see if he makes any sort of gesture as to what.
Caspian, for his part, is standing there. He's bloodied and injured. His left arm, seems to be hanging at an odd angle. He reaches up with one hand and simply places a hand on the side of Lilian's neck. It has been my distinct pleasure to serve you, Miss Carlisle.
You'd be ashamed to let such talent go to waste.
I only have life to give for my Domitor, and that is you.
I can't do it.
You have to. They'll kill you otherwise.
They'll kill you anyways. I mean...
Miss Carlisle, look at me. If you go on, you might have a chance to escape. And he takes her hand with his injured hand to lift the pistol up. And he stands close enough to her that he's almost hip to hip with her, and he has her arm kind of resting up against his chest with the muzzle of the barrel up underneath his chin.
Yes, ma'am.
Make a conscience roll. Let me see if you can even pull it off.
Yeah, I don't even know if you can.
It's going to be difficulty 9.
Oh, nope.
Your hand trembles,
Uh-huh.
and your eyes well up. This young man has been a devoted servant to you for the better part of a year. He has been funny, entertaining, sagely, he's an old soul, essentially. And you think that you could have been the luckiest Toreador on the planet to find someone like him that hadn't been snatched up by some elder many ages ago. And that seems to just tear at your heart, even though you may not be human anymore. Your humanity is, it's eating away at you, and your conscience just can't let you go do it.
No. 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 I can't. Caspian, I can't do it. I made a vow to protect you. I will be a casualty of war, but I will not let you die by my own hand. And she will turn and hold the gun back out to what's-his-face.
Man stands there with a almost empathetic look, but it's almost in a mocking manner. Oh my, that is quite the display, Miss Carlisle. And he pats his chest. Were I still tied to my humanity, this might actually tug at those heartstrings that have been clipped so many eons ago. But as it stands, and he just simply says it, and you hear the gunshot go off as Caspian calls out and drops to the ground, his kneecap just now a hole. Well, I guess it doesn't stand anymore.
I hope your friends enjoy their meal.
Right. Well then, Butch, if you wouldn't mind. And you feel the ground not really quake, but you can feel the impacts of each footfall as from behind one of the trucks an individual comes into your view. With pleasure, Archbishop. He walks towards Lilian, his body a bioluminescent mass of the finest work of vicissitude. It is horrible and grotesque to behold, but at the same time a flawless artist, a sculptor of flesh put this together. So you can find something to appreciate in this as far as your clan is concerned. And he lumbers towards you. So which one of you will be going first? Him or you?
I will go first.
Brave of you. And his hands come towards Lilian, and well, let me roll you a fate dice. Wouldn't you know it? As his hand comes closer and closer to you, you suddenly see sort of a line draw up his arm. You see a blackness. You feel cold, something almost icy enough to cause the skin on your face to burn. Um, as a black flame just literally starts to ignite up the entirety of his arm, all the way up onto his face, and he immediately lets out a howl of pain as he spins around, just echoing and bellowing as he slams into the side of the dump truck, actually causing it to come up off its wheel for a brief moment. And the young women seem to rush to his aid. "Daddy, no!" And they throw themselves on him, trying to put the flames out. And the one that they called Archbishop seems to be completely now could not give a shit about Lilian and her ghoul.
And at this moment, she's gonna try and, get Caspian up. Obviously, with his now one functioning leg, kind of sling one of his arms over her shoulder just to keep him supported, and to her best ability, get out of there as fast as she fucking can.
Do you have celerity?
Yes, I do.
How many dots of it do you have?
3.
I can't make any calls for you, but use them as you desire.
Okay.
How many turns are you going to be taking to get out of there?
As many as it needed.
So you're going to spend all 3, are you going to spend 3 blood points to use 3 celerity actions?
Yeah, I'll spend the 30. I have it.
Alright. Well then, let's see, you already spent 2 blood points, so make a note that you're down 5.
Okay.
And go ahead and make me your Dex athletic rolls difficulty 7, because you're a vampire, not going to be that hard to lift a young male of maybe 130 to 150 pounds.
Okay.
And you'll need, let's say, a total of 5 successes to get away. So you have 4 rolls that you can make.
Okay, I have. There's 1.
Alright.
Okay. None on the second.
No, it's difficulty 7.
Oh, I thought you said it was 9.
No.
Oh. 2 here, and then there was more on the first one. Alright. So, it's 3 at least for now.
Alright.
On the second. Ooh. None on the third.
So you stumble up. Here comes the one. Don't forget you can spend willpower.
Yeah, let's see. Where am I? Yeah, I'll spend a willpower just in case.
Okay.
And, oh, I didn't even...
So that's a total of 5 successes on that roll, or 6 successes on that roll alone, plus the 4 you had. So that's 10 successes total. You double the needed that you had to get. So essentially, what you do is, as some of the people had come out of their houses to look and gawk, and after they heard the gunshot and probably the car crash, they had opened their doors and they had run out the other side once the gunshot had happened, leaving a clear path from the back of their house to the front. And you did this in spades. You went through the one house, shoo! You noticed that the other house across the street in your speed had a garage door that was opened that had a backyard access to it, so shoo, right through that. The other person simply, that set of people had actually set up a few lawn items like a grill and a lounge chair and things like that you were able to step up on and go over the next fence. And shoo. By the time you're done, you're about 5 blocks away from.
Like a vampiric Ferris Bueller right now.
Pretty much, yes. Let me see if there's somebody who's just so beautiful you have to stop and say, "Hey, Lilian Carlisle, nice to meet you." No, you're fine. So you're now 5 blocks away, considerably safer than you were a moment ago, as the individuals seem to be in a fair bit of a tizzy over whatever had just happened.
Yeah. How's
Caspian's panting. He's trying to hold it together, but you can see the sweat just dripping down his face. He's probably in mind-numbing pain right now.
Wonder how many more blood points it would take for that to even feel a little bit better.
Well, what's your blood at right now?
Let me count. It's a 9.
So your total is a 14, 13?
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, if you take it down by another 2 points, you're going to be in a point where you start have to make hunger frenzy rolls. So it's up to you.
Oh.
Caspian looks up at Lilian. You should have left me there. That was foolish of you.
No, I couldn't have left you. You're too important to me. You're too special.
You didn't let me finish. I was going to say I was going to thank you anyway, but still foolish.
You do foolish things for people you care about. And on that, she'll kind of pull out her phone to see if she has cell phone reception.
No, it's still dead, and it's about that point that the lights start going out, cascading over the city until the city is just plunged into darkness. Well, I don't think you're going to be catching your Christmas on the Mall show tonight, my lady.
No, I assume not. It was a close one, though.
Listen, I can make my way through this city on my own.
Not with that hole in your leg.
I can go to a hospital.
I don't want to leave you by yourself.
This city is going to be full of people who are panicked right now. If I am amongst that panicking horde, I'm safer than I would be with you, in all honesty. I'm just going to slow you down, and if they're looking for you, they may not necessarily be looking for me.
Well, you're right. I'm just going to probably get you killed again. Almost, at least. Find some people. Find some police. Someone. Just be careful.
Have I ever been anything but?
True. And she's gonna hug him.
He is going to hesitate, but he'll return the hug with the one good arm he has.
I hope to see you again soon.
I'll give you a ring once I'm settled in my hospital room and let you know how long it will be before, or how much sick leave I'll need.
I look forward to that call.
Now go try and find Mr. Hanash or Miss Gia or Mr. Granite. I'm sure that they can help you.
Alright. Just be careful.
And he won't linger anymore. He'll start limping uh, towards one of the main streets where you can hear people kind of coming out of their houses and speaking loudly.
She'll go off in some direction away from all those crazy business that was going on.
It's about that time that someone grabs your shoulder as you come around a corner.
And I mean, can she see who it is? Or, like, turning around?
Well, I'll tell you what. Make me a courage roll. It's gonna be difficulty 7. This isn't for frenzy. This is simply to keep yourself from turning around and just punching that person straight out.
Okay.
And you'll need 2 successes at least.
Oh, yeah, 2 successes.
Okay. You manage to steal your resolve around to turn and ask questions before firing off a fist to the face. And as you turn around, you see the distinct red eyes of a certain other kindred that you know.
Lila.
When you see her, part of her face is missing. One of her eyes is gone. Part of the left side of her face is gone. And her left arm is completely missing right at the shoulder.
What happened to you?
A very angry Gangrel and a very angry Nosferatu.
Oh, at least you're alive.
uh,
Ish.
define alive.
You haven't met final death.
Yeah. You look a little
What's going
frazzled.
on? What?
I said you look frazzled.
Oh, I am quite frazzled. What? What happened? I thought we had the Sabat at bay.
Oh no. The cops rolled up on my club. Um, they started arresting my bodyguards. I saw it all happen on the camera. And it looked like they were throwing smoke grenades down into my club, but they were incendiary. They set my club on fire.
The cops set your club on fire?
Our cops. The city's cops. The ones that the court is supposed to have in their pockets.
They must have got to them then.
They're in the sewers. John Granite did me a big solid by taking out 2 of them. Well, one of them at least. The other one I set on fire. He jumped into the sewage. Nosferatu, he's probably home in there.
Hold on a second.
Do, 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 do. And we play the waiting game, waiting game, waiting game, waiting game. And we keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, while we're waiting, I hope everybody has enjoyed the resurgence of New Orleans thus far. Hope that anybody who's watching, the one viewer that we do have, is enjoying what they're seeing so far. Hopefully the story of the Sabat's Christmas Eve massacre is striking a chord with viewers and players alike. I hope that everyone will find a reason to keep coming back to view and hopefully participate in New Orleans for some time to come. The venue closed back in December, unfortunately, after a bit of a stir, and, well, myself and many of the other players that I talked to on a regular basis did feel a certain sense of loss, as we all kind of felt that this venue was something special. Definitely had a certain feel to it, and I'm hoping that we're recapturing that now between the videos with Chochel and John Granite and Dimitri
Sorry
Harker.
about that.
And yay, we have Miss Carlisle back.
When your
Okay.
significant other has 12-hour shifts, you know, they tend to call you in the few breaks that they get.
It's alright. It's alright. Just explaining to the viewers how much we love New Orleans collectively.
New Orleans is wonderful. It's amazing.
Yay!
Love it.
You hear that, folks? You heard it right from the mouth. Anyways, where were we? Oh yeah, Lila, disfigured and beaten, bruised. I don't know what's going on, but the Sabat are everywhere.
That's for damn sure. And you don't hear her curse very often.
How very terse of you.
I just had a run-in with them not too long ago.
She starts looking Lila over, kind of actually putting her hands on her to kind of turn her in one direction and the other. Well, hand, I guess. They didn't do anything to you, did they?
Well, they tried.
And what happened? How did you get away?
Well, my Google and I were trying to leave, and our vehicle was hit from behind by a dump truck, which spun us out into a median. And not long after, we were approached by members of the Sabat. I got out of the car. They made him get out of the car, and, well, after some words were exchanged, false pleasantries, the Archbishop wanted me to shoot my rule between the eyes, so to say, to prove myself temporary member of the Sabat, but I couldn't do it. And they brought in a Jemisi to eat me. And when it dried, it caught on fire. It wasn't normal glimpse of black fire. It was very strange, but that, directed all of their attention away from me. Oh, so we escaped.
And where is he now?
We thought it'd be safer for him if he wasn't around me for the moment, in case I was going to be followed. He's promptly trying to find some aid.
We needed to get out of the city.
I know. You do.
Trying to think. I know Lewisburg is the fallback point, but it's a long walk across that footbridge. And even then, I don't have enough obfuscate to cloak us both.
No. What do you suggest then?
I have a suggestion, but you're not gonna like it.
What is it?
There's a spillway that leads from the bayou all the way across. But it's usually mucked up this time of year with leaves and debris and things of that nature. It's probably going to look unpleasant and smell even worse.
You're right, I don't like it, but if that's the only option, well, our best option for survival.
And as you say that, Lila is going to cook on her obfuscate to take on Mask of 1,000 Faces. So she doesn't look like she doesn't look like a devil, because that's just so far from everything that she stands for. So she takes on the guise of the fair-skinned woman that you first met before she divulged what she was. Or, well, divulged what she looked like anyway. And she looks at your coat, because her arm is still a bloody stump. Um, you know, your clothes are a lot nicer than what I normally buy and wear, but I don't suppose you wouldn't mind if I borrowed your coat, would you?
Oh, no, not at all. Here, take it.
And she'll kind of hold out an arm, because she really can't.
Lane will take it off and kind of help her get it on.
All right. Well, hopefully, they won't be looking for us.
Or not.
And so, the duo do make it across the spillway with relative ease. Describe to me what Lilian thinks about the muck she's trudging through. This decaying plant matter and mud and swamp water that smells like a bog and in the sunlight on a hot day.
She's absolutely disgusting. If she were mortal, she'd probably have thrown up already.
I'm sure her shoes and leggings are probably beyond ruined.
Yep.
Make me a Dex Athletics check. Difficulty 8. Threshold 2.
If 8, then 3 successes.
Alright, so as you're walking in, it only gets up to about waist deep.
Only.
Only. Lila seems to have really no qualms about it. She's trudging through it like a trooper. Basically, what you're in, the spillway, is a covered, like, drainage area. It's got, like, the graded top, so there's, like, that mesh, and that's what she's using to pull herself along with the one arm, so she kind of looks like, kid on a jungle gym almost slightly, because you could probably tell that she's actually kind of floating at this point, rather than trying to walk. But she's getting much deeper into the muck than you are.
Hmm. Yeah. Lilian's just thinking she can't wait to get a shower and buy new clothes.
Because it's about to have all of her old clothes.
Yep.
Gosh, those blood sisters are going to be the best dressed blood sisters in all of New Orleans.
Yep.
So the two of you make it across, and it's about daybreak. It's getting close to it. You can start to feel the lethargy coming onto you. You can feel that tingle in your skin as the first deep purples start to approach on the east.
No. Lila, where are we going to sleep?
Lila looks like she's very tired as she's kind of leaning against the inner wall of the spillway as you guys come to the exit of it on the other side of Lake Pontchartrain. Well, we could completely submerge ourselves and sleep in the spillway.
Um,
Or we could try and walk up to a motel covered in muck and grime.
Well, I probably won't let us in. Oh, don't want to do this, but is submerging ourselves the best option in your opinion?
Best option? No, but most effective? Probably. Judging by this spillway, I'd say, well, the consistency of this water and the fact that this drainage area is pretty well covered by concrete. Yeah, I think we might be okay.
I'll leave the decision up to you because
Lila will disappear under the water, and you'll see her coat kind of floating there in that murky and dank water. And when she comes back up looking like a swamp thing. She's clearly rolled herself in the, well, whatever's that muddy undermuck that kind of lines the spillway is covered in. This is my idea.
Alright. Okay.
Make me a willpower roll to see how easily you can do it.
Standard difficulty or
Way higher. For you, at least. Difficulty 8.
Okay, nope, no successes.
You find this repulsive beyond words, and you're not having a good time right now.
Mm. She's just absolutely speechless with disgust. I mean, it's very obvious that she can't really deal with this grossness very well.
Lilian,
Yes.
you can kind of tell that Lila's half crouched. I just want you to know that I care about you very deeply. And with that, she brings up a glob of that muck, like a whole handful of it, and just splats it on your face.
Ah. Oh. Mhm.
And starts just rubbing it all over. And she comes back up with more of it and just smacks it down unceremoniously on the top of your head, mixing it in with your hair.
Glad I liked you as well.
The things we do for those we care about, slap more. Now, if I have to, I'm going to have to drag you under there and roll you like a burrito. You think you can manage on your own?
Don't know. Don't want to move.
Think of it like this. You're in a spa, and this is a deep mud treatment.
Can she try to think about it like that?
Yeah, it'll reduce the difficulty to 7.
Okay.
Threshold 2.
Alright. So, 2 successes.
She gets over herself.
Okay. She manages to slowly ease herself down in the muck.
You'll feel Lila's foot kind of trying to nudge you into that rolling motion. You do notice that she's barefoot, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, or whatever the fuck her name is, Lilian. Will follow suit and yeah, she'll kind of throw herself in it. Doesn't really want to, but
And Lila will wait for her to come back up.
she'll come up.
And as you come up, there's a flash. And you see Lila standing there with her cell phone in its OtterBox.
What?
What?
Please tell me that was not a picture you just took.
Lila will put an arm over her and hold the phone up. Selfie! Smile!
There is no smile.
By the way, I got a text like an hour ago after we got away from the city, and I started getting cell phone coverage from this end. The prince set up a triage center for all of us to stay in.
So that was completely unnecessary then.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Do I need to make a self-control roll?
I'll let you decide. You've seen Lila's antics before, usually directed at other people. Always good for a laugh.
Yeah. She's keeping in mind Lila's friend-ish. Lila's in Lacadian.
I'll tell you what, why don't you roll perception empathy? Because maybe you're trying to wonder why she would do such a thing, and the expression on her face.
Oh, God. Okay. One success.
Knowing Lila well enough, you know that sometimes she does like her deflection, or when things get tense, she uses humor.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably a good chance that she was trying to get your mind off of the fact that, your favorite ghoul is still back in the city with a bunch of renegades, and the fact that pretty much everything you know and love is really not at your fingertips.
Yeah. All I can say is be glad I like you.
Oh, honey, I like you too. And she gives her a big hug.
I need a shower.
Come on, Tori, let's go get you a shower,
Please.
she says. Well, as that night comes to a close, and after you get a shower in what's basically a YMCA type setup, um, you know,
Ew.
you're given basically like a pair of sweatpants and a shirt to wear
Ew.
from like a local gym, like their merchandise type stuff. So it's not like worn gym clothes or.
And she looks. If anyone's ever given a cat a bath immediately afterwards, that is her.
Lila might be snipping another picture then.
She just looks very displeased.
Someday we're gonna look back on all this and laugh.
Oh, really?
Hmm. Well, I will.
No,
I
I
hope,
know you.
I hope you will too. Hey, if it's any consolation, the devil on my shoulder made me do it. The angel was, and she points to the other shoulder where her arm used to be. Angel, he's kind of quiet, so he might have been trying to dick you over too.
And she does kind of grin a little bit at that. Let's get some sleep, shall we?
And you'll be led to an area in the basement of this makeshift shelter, which is probably a gym in all honesty. One that doesn't look like it's had a whole lot of use. Like the machines are not plugged in like the treadmills, and many of the weights are packed away. So this might be a seasonal gym,
Mm-hmm.
something to be used in tourist season. The basement itself has no windows. It's like just a straight up boiler room with cots. And you see a couple of ghouls that look like they're going to be there all day long to watch over you. But you see other vampire refugees.
Given her her appearance right now, she's kind of not wanting to really speak to anyone, or really draw attention to herself.
I don't think they're really paying attention to you. A lot of them look like they're battle wounded. Some of them are starting to regrow their limbs that have been taken off, things of that nature.
Okay, good.
One of the ghouls that seems to be kind of dressed in a half paramilitary outfit, he's going to walk by you and Lila and offer you both two bags of blood.
She's definitely going to take it.
And it's not great blood. It's definitely not up to your palate, but it's consumable.
Mm-hmm.
And as the days wear on, you find out about the Christmas Eve massacre. you find out about how the Sabbat tricked the Camarilla. Its fake war of attrition, which led them into a false sense of security, which left you and the other city-dwelling members of the Ivory Tower vulnerable. Um, you find out that many people were not as lucky as you. There were many kindred deaths within the city. There was even word that the Tremere Chantry was burnt to the ground. In the weeks that follow, you are made aware of the fact that the Tremere Lord Regent pulled certain strings to make sure that the Camarilla at large did not forcibly require any local cities to offer aid to New Orleans. They cited, of course, your sire as the reason that they called in such favors. Within a couple of days after the raid itself, you do get a text from Caspian, and he sends you a picture of him in a hospital bed with a cast on his leg and holding up a peace sign. And within about 4 weeks, he actually comes to join you. And you're pretty much left to your own devices at that point. The prince sort of gives you a simple order that once things are settled and set up to the point where they can operate, there will be no Elysiums held. And that everyone is to remain vigilant, but keep your head low.
Okay.
Are there any sort of actions that Miss Carlisle might take in about the span of 4 months between the end of December into April?
Well, she would have found a fairly decent place to live with what resources she still had. She started to rebuild her wardrobe. Granted, some of the vintage pieces are long gone. Now, how is the mansion in New Orleans? I mean, did anything happen to that, or?
You get some reports that there are people living there, and they haven't kept it up to your standards.
So
It
there would have
was
been no way to send someone in the day to get things.
without asking permission. Caspian had tried to get close to the mansion, and the day that he arrived, he told you that that's what he did, and that didn't look like it was a very friendly place to go at that point.
So then, yeah, some of her vintage pieces are probably long gone. But she's steadily trying to rebuild some of the grand wardrobe that she used to have. While Caspian was in the hospital, she probably would have sent him flowers.
Aw, she does care.
She does.
And if that's all, I would assume that you and the other Toreador of the city and Miss Gia and any other associates that you had that were alive and well might have met intermittently throughout that time.
Probably.
Otherwise, you've lived a very dull and boring, basic bitch life out here in the suburbs. You quickly learn that the Walmart seems to be the place to go for most of the city, most of Lewisburg's, residents.
Oh boy.
Every now and then, Lila has tried to take you to the bowling alley
Nope.
or the local theater, which is about 4 months behind, what's actually out and released, with chairs that have cigar smoke smell still in them from the fact that this theater's been around since the 70s.
With some Febreze, she could probably go there.
She's even tried to get you to go to Walmart for shopping.
Nope.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is the story of Lilian Carlisle, at least for now. Thank you for watching and putting up with our intermittent commercial breaks.